Hello and welcome to a special YouTube video on Sky Sports Football. I've got everyone's favourite TV duo. I've got Jay Bothroyd and Dermot Gallagher to discuss VAR and the various rules that have been introduced at World Cup 2026 and how we think they are going, whether we'd like to see them introduced in the Premier League. We'll be discussing hydration breaks, increased VAR powers and so much more, so do not go anywhere. Let's start with the expanded VAR powers. There are a fair few new rules as well. They now have the power to step in for wrongly awarded second yellow cards, incidents of mistaken identity, and incorrectly awarded corner kicks. There are a few other stipulations as well, but we've already seen these featured in two games so far, Dermot. Morocco versus Brazil. Brazil were denied a corner after a VAR check found Matheus Cunha touched the ball last. The decision was made very quickly. And then in USA versus Paraguay, the referee was sent to the monitor after booking Tim Ream for a case of mistaken identity, with Miguel Almiron eventually awarded a yellow card for simulation. Dermot, what have you made of these new VAR introductions for this World Cup?
I like them too because they're factual. I'm in the corner. I liked it because it wasn't a corner and it was done very, very quickly. The second one is the best thing I've seen in the World Cup so far, the Tim Ream. Jay and I were discussing it earlier. 14 minutes in, as I said earlier, he's under massive pressure if he gets a yellow card, especially as it wasn't a foul. There's no doubt it wasn't a foul. I understand why the referee gave it, but very quickly it's cleared up. His yellow card is rescinded, so he can carry on in the game. A centre-back who's got to make tackles after 14 minutes is under pressure on a yellow card. Said it as well as that. Further down the line, he's under pressure for a second yellow card in a subsequent game and suspension. Almiron clearly dived. He gets a yellow card instead. I just think it was great and it was done so quickly.
I tend to agree. I mean, Jay, in terms of the new powers making sense and whether there's enough consistency, the ability for second yellow cards to be taken away but not given after VAR, and corners are unable now to be given for an incorrectly awarded goal kick as well. Do you think there's still some issues with consistency in the implementation of these VAR rules?
No, especially not with the corners. I mean, there were some problems last year in the Premier League where, we spoke on air earlier, but it was about, Nottingham Forest. And there was two incidents where they actually weren't corners and they conceded goals from them. And because of that, now with these rules coming in, those mistakes can't be made. So I think that's a great rule. The water break one, I'm still not sure about because, Dermot was speaking before, 3-minute water break. It doesn't take 3 minutes to, have a swig of water. And it seems like they're just using it for tactics almost, to discuss with the coaches and the management.
I mean, let's just dive straight into the hydration breaks. You've played abroad, Jay, in a number of different places in hot countries. Did you feel like the World Cup had to introduce hydration breaks? Was it something that was necessary given the heat out there?
Listen, when I played in Thailand, for example, it was baking. Humidity was so high all the time. And they just put bottles around the pitch. So like when, maybe when the ball goes out of play, you can just reach for a bottle. I don't think you need 3 minutes. Even if they are to stop it, I think you could just stop that for 1 minute, nip over, have yourself a drink, have some electrolytes or whatnot and just carry on. I think 3 minutes is way too long. And even then, like Dermot said, when the players were ready to actually kick off, the goalkeeper had the ball and the referee stopped it and said 3 minutes is not up. So again, I think that's just unnecessary. When everyone's ready to get back into play, let the whistle go.
And Dermot, on that, do you think FIFA will be quite frustrated that, all across my social media feeds at the moment, people are just talking about hydration breaks. Do you think they'll be quite frustrated that this new implementation has led to so much discussion?
I think their idea was they knew it was going to be hot in certain areas and they implemented a one-size-fits-all.
Has to be done everywhere, yeah.
That's the problem, isn't it? It's not a one-size-fits-all. I refereed in Qatar and it was 41 degrees. There was, like Jay said, there was drinks around. There's a break, I can nip across and have a drink. I could have a drink in 10, 15 seconds while they're fetching the ball for a goal kick. If we had a minute, yeah, great. But I don't know about you as a player, but as a referee, I wouldn't want to be stood for 3 minutes. No. That's an eternity.
Would you lose your focus as a referee or lose your rhythm?
I think certainly you lose your momentum. And that's, for me, Jay and I talk about things on Ref Watch. We talk about decisions and the referee's going to have it on, the referee's going to have it on. When I was a player, I didn't want the referee to have it on. I wanted the referee to stop them breaking play up. I wanted momentum. As a referee, I wanted the same because I'm in that zone, I want to go, quick little break, get my head together, go again. 3 minutes, that's an eternity.
And also, I think, we talked about this new technology, Snicko, and that's come from cricket. I think we need to take the stop clock from the NBA. Every time the ball stops, just stop it. Because then that's going to stop these extra times where people are questioning it. Like, how is that 11 minutes? How is that 8 minutes? And vice versa. How is that not 8 minutes? What, where does that come from? So I think they need to implement that. And I think that just lets the game flow a lot more efficiently.
I mean, let's move on to time wasting right now, but actually just one final question to you, Jay. When you're playing in that sort of heat, how does it affect your decision making, and what would your fitness differences be, say, at 60 minutes playing in Thailand or Japan, where you played previously, versus playing in England?
I think you get used to it, first and foremost. It's not one of those.
How long does that take to get used to it?
I mean, from when I first went there, it'd probably take me, a few weeks
Right.
to a month maybe. But when we was training there, it was funny because they actually told us to wear more clothes. Like wet coats and jumpers. So then, when you are playing in shorts and a t-shirt, you feel a lot.
Right.
You feel a lot cooler.
It wasn't for fashion purposes.
It wasn't for fashion purposes. But again, a lot of the time, it's more electrolytes, salts in your body, so it stops you getting cramp. Sometimes you might put, hot water down your neck or over your head to just cool you down, but you get used to it really quickly. And like Dermot said, I think Virgil van Dijk said, it needs to be subjective for certain stadiums. I played in the Dome when I was in Japan, and the temperature was constant at 20 or 21 degrees the whole game. You never felt like you was overheating. We never had water breaks. It was just, a normal game.
Brilliant. Let's go on to time wasting, because we've seen, again, various rules brought into place, and they've already been used in a couple of times, Dermot. In Canada versus Bosnia, Bosnia's throw-in was given to Canada after, say, Kolasinac took too long to take it. And in Scotland versus Haiti as well, Andy Robertson found a loophole by directing teammates into position before picking up the ball, before the 5-second countdown started as well. What have you made of FIFA's introductions to try and counteract time wasting, and was that something that you really wanted to see FIFA and IFAB get a grip of?
I think everybody, when you saw the Premier League last year, time ball in play, it shocked people in those games with 55, 56 minutes. So over a third of the game lost. I think FIFA recognised this. They want to get more ball time, more play time. But Andy Robertson did exactly what I told everybody, as I said to you.
Yeah.
When I used to go in and to Arsenal, when Jay was there, and say, look, this is what we're going to do this season, this is how we're going to implement this. The first thing Arsene Wenger said to him is, right, we've got to work a way around this. It's right. Yeah. The first thing the coaches do, they work out how to circumvent what's best for them. Yeah. And that's exactly what Andy Robertson did, didn't he? He knew that if he picked that ball up, he got 5 seconds, but instead he didn't pick it up.
Very smart, very smart. Okay, before we wrap up the show, Dermot, what are the 3 rules from the World Cup that you'd most like to see introduced in the Premier League next year? And Jay will probably get your reaction to those suggestions as well. So Dermot, what rules have you most enjoyed from the World Cup?
Certainly the one with Tim Ream, where the referee can just be told by the VAR, you've made that mistake. I just think it's so important. It's factual. I like the corner. It's factual. The rest I'm growing into. Mm-hmm. But them two I'd say for definite, because there is no argument. They're factual.
Yeah. And Jay, if there's any other rule that you could introduce that you haven't seen yet, or something that frustrates you from a refereeing point of view, what would you like to see changed in the Premier League?
Again, I totally agree with Derms. The only other one I would add would be that Snicko. We had an incident this season, which Dermot pointed out to me afterwards, which we discussed at length with his handball at Man United. If there is that Snicko, we don't even have the conversation. It's just done. And I think that's black and white as well. So all the rules that are black and white, I think, should be implemented into football, into the Premier League, because there's no discussion about them and you can make the decision really quickly. And that's what we want in the game.
In Ref Watch this season, we've actually been hard and fast on that. With that. Things that are factual, we like. The problem areas is the subjective ones, because it's down to an individual. And individuals, whether we like it or not, we're going to see things slightly differently.
And to add to that as well, the terminology in how, the officials in the VAR room describe things, because sometimes they dig a hole for themselves by using terminology that someone like me that used to be a player look at and think, how's that reckless or dangerous? What's the difference? When is it the difference? Sometimes things are just accidental, but they look at it because you've hit someone high on the leg. They look at it as reckless, where actually it's an accident. So they're the things that I look at and I say, that needs to change. But again, I just don't like the rules that are there for interpretation. The black and white rules are the best.
And final question just to Jay. We've seen most teams in action in this first round so far. We haven't yet seen England, of course. Who is your favourite, having seen a lot of the teams in action?
My favourite is Germany, and I said that from the beginning. I said, people were kind of sleeping on Germany, but I see them playing the Euros against Spain, and even though Spain won that game, Germany battered them to the point where when Marino scored that goal, it was a shock. The whole stadium went quiet, and I look at them now. They played against a lesser opposition, yes, but they still won that very convincingly. And they've got some big players there. They've got solid defenders, experienced players, and they're the only European team to win in South America.
And also, I thought Florian Wirtz just looked exceptional as well. Point to prove for sure.
Exactly.
It's going to be absolutely epic. There's been quite a few of the big sides underperforming so far, but England's still to come. But these guys will certainly not be underperforming across Sky's platforms this summer. Talking Ref Watch, talking all sorts of football situations. Keep an eye out for them. Thank you very much to Jay. Thank you very much to Dermot. And we'll catch you soon.